Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Malicious Compliance. Story 1. Manager reprimands me for working too much after constantly burying me in projects. I am a tax preparer and we all know about tax season. Usually, we have to work 55 to 60 hours a week, which is pretty standard. But this year, the company decided to reduce it to 50 in an attempt to promote better work-life balance. Realistically speaking, there was no way this was going to work out because outside of my local office, the other offices in the company notoriously struggled to get their tax returns done on time with 55 to 60 a week. They also had increased our yearly charge hour goals, which I thought was pretty counterintuitive. Either way, I decided to say screw it, just do the 50 cause I'll take the extra time, sure. That adventure died quickly, because my manager just started burying me in projects. For some background on my manager, he sucked at his job. Constantly contradicts himself, throws others under the bus, and hounds you about being efficient and getting his projects done, but then waits forever to get them reviewed. He also has no problem bossing people around and being condescending. But the moment someone with an ounce of authority pushes down on him, he instantly folds and bends to their will like a dog after its owner tells it to roll, even if they have no idea what they're talking about. So as I'm working on all of these projects he buried me in, I soon realize that 50 is not gonna allow me to get all this done. It's definitely not that I was taking too long to do them. I am confident that my track record at that company shows that I got stuff done and pushed out in a timely manner. But between the budget hours that these projects had as whole, the 50 hours, and the line of other projects I had from other people, yeah, fat chance I was gonna make it. So I decide screw it, I'll just do 55 to 60. Because I'm a team player, I did like working at that place. I figured I'd get ahead of the company's lovely charge hour goal, and brownie points couldn't hurt. Then my manager comes into play again. He asks me to if I can hop on a call, and that's where it begins. He asks me about my time card, because even though my requirement is 50, I still book the 55 to 60 cause I ain't working for free. I find out that in a meeting, a partner from another office looked at my time card and started questioning it, then proceeded to start saying all kinds of things about me and accusing me of stuff. I apparently now had a nickname amongst him and that group as the 60-hour man. My manager rips me a new one because I'm working too much and that I don't have to do that, and yes, I didn't have to do that, but it was my choice that I was okay with making. I then realized that my manager was also in on the call, and listening to this partner say all this stuff about me. But he didn't stick up for me, and knowing damn well how much he put on my plate, seemed to have agreed with this guy who has no idea what's going on. I felt extremely backstabbed by this, but I decided, okay fine, I won't work too much. So went back down to 50 hours, again, I'll take the extra time. As a result, he got antsy about some of the projects because they weren't get done yet. I couldn't have gotten to them within the 50 hours I had each week, so they'd keep needing to get pushed out. This led to some of the projects didn't get done by the tax deadline, so we had to extend, and he wasn't happy about it. He believes that they could have gotten done. And yeah, they could have. That extra 5 to 10 hours a week I was originally putting in would have allowed me to get them done. All my manager had to do was keep his mouth shut or utter a thank you. I left that company at the end of July, and left him with the rest of his projects that he dumped on me through that month. I wished him well, but I hope to never work under him again. Story 2. Come to my register while speaking on the phone and tell me rudely to stop talking it. Let's say 7 years ago, I used to work as a cashier in a pharmacy, think Shoppers Drug Mart. I didn't like the job and have low threshold when it comes down to rude/disrespectful customer. Whenever a customer would come to my register while talking on the phone, I would take great pleasures to say all the usual stuff I'm required to say, just loud enough so that it disturbs the call. In a friendly voice, "Hi, how are you? Have you found what you were looking for? Do you have the Fidelity card? Would you like to donate to X?" I would usually be met halfway with a gesture or words that mean that they want me to stop talking, and stop talking is what I did. In my city, and store policies, plastic bags can't be given free, they cost 5 cent, and because they aren't free I need consent from the client before adding them to the bill. Unfortunately, the bag was the last thing I would have asked if they let me speak. But I was told to stop talking, so I do just that, scan the items, leave them standing on my counter, don't say the total amount, wait that the customer realize it's time to pay, let the customer pay and wait. Usually now they talk to me and ask, "Why aren't you bagging my stuff?" Without a word, I point out the clear yellow sign on my counter bag, 5 cents. Most of them pull back their wallet to pay, some grabs their stuff hastily and leaves, still on the phone. Makes me happy. Story 3. New boss gives angry me an impossible task. I don't know if this is exactly malicious compliance, kind of a revenge story. I used to work for a big IT consulting company notorious for not paying overtime. I worked for a client's migration project for almost 1.5 years leading the functional migration team. The three of us worked for the client 3 years before the start of the migration project, so we knew the data we had to migrate, all the nuances, and 2 weeks before the migration date, 99% of the data was already migrated and validated. We only did the day-by-day new data and sag off pretty much those 2 last weeks. Other manager, that outranked me, became extremely angry about our calmness, because the part she led was behind schedule, due to bad scheduling, and everyone was being overworked because of her mishaps. Come migration date, Saturday, starting 9 AM, everyone was expecting long hours of work, but we clocked out at noon with the data validated with the client and the go-ahead signed, sealed, and delivered. My team got a written commendation from the client. The manager's team spent the entire weekend there. She got a complaint letter from the client. The manager complained about us and made me and my senior analyst spend the next month waiting for incidences/bugs/complaints. We got 5 in the whole month. My senior analyst spent 8 hours a day studying a new language. I took the chance to update my CV, I wanted out, and pretty much help a couple former colleagues that needed to solve bugs and problems within the manager's team responsibilities. A couple weeks later, evaluation time. At the IT company, everyone was graded A to D. A being exceeding expectations, D being you're out of here, B was good, C was pretty much I'm starting to think you might not be good to work here. Given the commendation from the client, I was expecting an A. My evaluation was done by the manager and my mentor, close friend with the manager. They gave me a C because we didn't see any pressure on your work, and you certainly lack motivation. I complained and took a long overdue already planned month-long vacation. This was June. After that, back at work, I was assigned to a project on another client led by manager's husband. He wanted me to prepare 122 integrations with different systems in 4 months. I told him that, in the previous project, led by his wife, they took 2 years to have 12 integrations ready, but I would give it a shot. I even emailed him the planning where it clearly showed the time they took. 2 of those months were July and August, months where pretty much everyone on the client goes on holiday. Manager and wife also went on holiday pretty much all August. I spent those 2 months chasing people around the client's office, but, starting September 6 integrations were closed and 6 more were almost closed pending validation. Manager came back from holidays and was furious. He called me a slacker and started telling me that his wife was right, that I lacked motivation and that I would need to spend the rest of the project duration working till midnight to make up for lost time. And I said no, I won't do an hour more than what you're paying. I told you that your expectations were unrealistic and you went ahead with them anyways. He went ballistic. I replied I just lack motivation to work in your project, I want out of the project. I was out of the project in no time. I got a call from my mentor, she said that they were evaluating firing me without pay because of this. I told them about the unrealistic planning. She said that I was being unrealistic, and that the planning was good. I produced the email I sent the manager. My mentor went quiet. A minute later she told me, what do you want? If you can't guarantee I won't do an hour of overtime ever again, I want out, full severance and then some, and I want the company to make it look like I quit, not that you fired me. She went quiet again. She said she'll see what she could do. I was out of there, smiling, by the end of the day. P.S. From the team that remained in the project, 4 guys were on my team before the migration project. They all complained. They all got out of the project as well. PS2, a fake, the project took twice the expected time to be completed, manager's husband got nearly fired, wife held a lot of power and managed to save his ass. TLDR, after fucking me on a prior project, manager gives me an impossible task, I tell him that it's impossible, he goes ahead with it anyways, complains about my work when reality hits him and tries to fire me without pay, gives me grounds to get a bigger severance than the usual. Story 4. As long as you work here you have to work that weekend. First time poster, apologies for any formatting issues. Many years ago I worked hospitality, friendly local bar, good staff, locals, and management. All in all a pretty good gig. My girlfriend at the time was studying about 5 hours drive away and was an ex-workmate at the same bar. We'd worked together over the summer and then got together once university started. Our local sports team had a game coming up in a couple of months playing in her city, it was always a big party night in a student town, so I decided to get tickets and take the weekend off to spend time together. Duly put my leave request in and with 6 weeks to go this was accepted by management. Everything was looking good for a great long weekend away with her. Nearly a month later on a Thursday 15 days out from the big event. My boss came to me and said as he had decided to attend the game he was cancelling my leave and I would have to do closing shifts over that weekend. I argued he had accepted my leave, I already had tickets and had also booked accommodation for some sweet after-match interactions so this wouldn't work. This was when he uttered the statement in the title. Cue malicious compliance. I instantly saw the solution, literally grabbed a napkin off the bar and wrote my resignation out under his nose and handed it to him. He refused to accept it. I informed him that it would be foolish to not have cover for me starting in 14 days as that was my notice period and I was going regardless of whether he accepted or not. Outcome, I had a marvelous weekend away, he had to work that weekend as he was unable to replace me and when I bumped into his wife a week after returning home she told me he had been slammed on game night, and they still hadn't replaced me and eventually asked could I come back. We agreed to a meeting time and had a good chat about things and I got offered my old job back with another $1.50/HR thrown in. I ended up working for him another 4 years with no drama after that. Edit, formatting and a typo. Thanks for all the support and awards, I wasn't expecting this much activity on my first post. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.